Thanks for tuning in to more Indy 500 coverage on Prime Sports Speed. As Eric Smith from RaceReviewOnline.net, as you can see, is hunkered in. It's a
Yep,
rainy day in Indianapolis.
it is. Yeah, I was gonna do the normal location that I've done the last couple of years, but it is soaked. Look at the tracks being dried right now, but yeah, I didn't really want to be wet the whole time and be uncomfortable with this. So at least improvised here. Still got a view of the track back there. So maybe we'll get some
Yeah.
practice here running a little bit.
And what, practice is scheduled, what, just as soon as they can try the track?
Yeah, it was originally supposed to be 11-1. Now it's just whenever they can get it dry. There's more rain coming. They've got to get the cars on track. Just they switched the engines after qualifying. Everybody gets a fresh engine. So Honda and Chevy, they don't want to have like an old engine. It blows. You don't have to worry about that now. But you also need some track time to make sure that engine and everything's hooked up right. There's no leaks. There's a bolt misplay. Like you'll figure that out in practice where you could tighten it between the race. Well, you really don't want to change parts on a car and an engine and then all of a sudden say, hey, well, now you got to race it. You got no track time to make sure everything works. Just kind of like if you leave a car dealership or a mechanic or whatever and you get your car fixed and you want to drive it a bit to be sure everything still works. Can you imagine if they say, hey, leave car X or Midas or whatever, and you got to go drive your car 230 miles an hour. Hope what we did works for you.
Yeah.
So they need just a few laps. So that's what their worst case scenario. If there's only 30 minutes available and it looks like it's going to rain again, they'll just give those cars 30 minutes to cross all T's, dot all I's, and be sure we're good to go.
And then that's it. Nothing else until the race on Sunday.
That's it. Nothing until Sunday. Hey, you guys know the Barstool Joey Molinaro, the guy that makes those videos? That was him that just walked by right there. So we'll tell him he made an appearance on our show. I'll tell him in the media center. Yeah, that's it. It's just this and then the race on Sunday. This isn't like NASCAR or whatever. You have final practice the day before the race or anything. There's none of that. It's literally this session and the race.
Okay.
So that's all that's left.
All right. Well, let's get into it as we preview the 500, and we'll update these odds. And of course, the odds are off the board now because of practice. We've got all the odds from a few days ago when they came out, and they will probably be ready to go again later tonight or early tomorrow. But more than likely later today, you can check out your sports books and you can get ready to bet. But look, I can't even imagine that these odds are going to change much anyway, based on today.
No, there'd be no reason to at all. If they change, there's something wrong with the odds makers if they change the odds based off whatever session we
Unless
get into.
somebody
There's absolutely
crashes.
nothing. Yeah, but even if they do, I wouldn't put a lot of stock into it because they've got 2 days to fix the car.
Right.
So if it might help the odds if they literally bring that person's odds down because they crashed, then you might want to bet on them because
True.
They figured out what not to do in the race. But yeah, it's cloudy, it's overcast, the sun's trying to peek through, but it's only like 61 degrees when I walked out here, and the race is going to be 10 degrees warmer. Granted, it's cooler than even normal races here, but it's still, this track's so temperature sensitive. A cooler, cloudy day like this, you're not going to get a lot of data. So some of the drivers have already said this morning that, they'll absolutely run out there, but they're not expecting to get a lot of data for what their car should be for Sunday. So that's why I wouldn't put a lot of stock if the odds shouldn't change at all based off this practice.
All right, let's we'll go through these trends and then finalize all the trends. And by the way, you have a trend article up at racereviewonline.net, so you can check that out. But let's just start at the top with Scott Dixon, who's the heavy favorite at 3-1. And Dixon, if you look at all his practice times, they've all ranged between 1st and 8th. And he is, let's see, he won from the pole actually back in 08. And he's trying to do that again this year. He was second last year and he led 111 laps. So talk about Scott Dixon's opportunity to win another Indianapolis 500 when it looks pretty good. But 3-1, there's the odds that are kind of, it's kind of tough to go with someone at 3-1.
Yeah, it is definitely tough. I would pick him to win. He would be my favorite. He's got the best car. Everybody said Scott Dixon's the guy to beat.
So would you rather put, if you had $100 to wager, would you rather go 100 on Dixon to try to win 300, or spread your money and just hope Dixon doesn't come in first?
100% spread my money. This place. You also got to remember he's started this race 18 times and he's won once. Last year he had the car to beat. He led 111 laps, but he didn't win.
Was
So
he
it's
better
hard.
in practice and qualifying last year?
I'd say it's pretty even.
Okay.
He was pretty close to the top of the speed charts then, and I talked to almost every driver yesterday at media day, and one of the questions I asked was, where do you want to be coming to the white flag or 2 to go? Do you want to be leading or do you want to be in second place? And all of them said, granted, you've got factors. If IndyCar doesn't have overtime like NASCAR, so if there's 2 to go, 3 to go, 4 to go, caution comes out, that's pretty much the race.
Yeah, you want
They're
to be
not going to red
first.
flag
Yeah.
it or manipulate it. So you want to be first in that sense. But they said if you're first and a caution doesn't come out, you're not going to win. Your car, the first place car, is such drag that the second place car is going considerably quicker, that the guy that probably leads the last lap is not going to win the race.
But that's if it's a close race.
Yes, that's if second place is right there battling with him. Dixon's been that good, he's probably going to be in the lead if you play that mark. And if it play it out that it doesn't work for him, we get a green checkered finish. Like it goes, it's not a yellow checkered. We're gonna get a high speed inning. Dixon probably gets passed. I mean, he mentioned that to me yesterday. He's finished second, he thinks, 3 times. I meant to look, and I'm pretty sure he's right, that he was leading and got passed, and he was second place at the final caution, that he didn't win because so. To me, that trends show he's going to finish second. So why spend 3 to 1 odds when you can get? Yeah. There's plenty of other guys that can win this race for better odds for your money. So if you don't feel confident in Dixon, which look, I feel confident he can win this race. He's the best driver in this series right now, but he's also won this race once, and you get better odds elsewhere. So I would look elsewhere, to be honest. There's other guys out there that I'm sure we'll talk about that you could probably choose.
Well, look, unlike NASCAR, the odds are spread out even more in IndyCar, and Herta is the second choice at 6 to 1, and he's right there. He's starting second. He doesn't have the practice speeds though, like anywhere near as close as Dixon. He has one good run when he finished second. Other than that, just one other top 10, and he was 5th and 22nd on the 2 oval races this year, 8th in this race last year. So are you surprised that he is all alone, 6 to 1, and the next driver is 10 to 1?
I was a little shocked. I think they were using to me, it looked like the trend of the front row. He's starting second. I think it looked like they were following that. And Herta mentioned yesterday to me, like, look, I'm essentially, this is my second race. Yes, it's my third, but my first race ended before I even got started. I blew my engine like 4 laps in. So this is really a second race. Andretti's, they look good in a group. They just, overall, they're just lacking a little bit, it seems, from their speed last year. He mentioned to me yesterday, too, he's never led a lap here. He's never led a lap on the oval for the 500. So I think he rides in the coattails of Scott Dixon for a while. Does it hurt his speed? Does it hurt his factors in the end? Does he know how much downforce levels that he needs to win this race? I think he would take a solid top 5. I think he's a solid top 5 driver, but it shocks me for a guy that's really making a second start that they could put him at the second odds. That again, there's more drivers behind him that you're getting almost double the odds for compared to that. So they're either basically saying take Dixon or Herta or the field. I'm going to take the field out of that group. Okay. So there's other guys that I would fall back for that I would take.
Well, we'll I tell you what. Let's talk about who starts third, and that is VK coming off his win, and he's 17 to 1, starting third. Now, unfortunately, he only has one top 10 practice run though, and he started 4th last year, but it didn't fare well. But it was his first attempt. So, what about VK starting third at 17 to 1?
He's my pick. There you go. There's my pick to win. I called it. I called the shot for the road course race, and he won. So he had some interesting things. So we talked to him yesterday. Again, it's just where it's benefit being here. His car looks good. Remember we talked about the show, car looking good in the draft that you could watch. It looks good. He's fast. He's the fastest Chevy. He's got his teammates. They are all working on different things. So his practice speeds are a little bit, I don't look too much into. His car looks good in the draft. His teammates all looked good on speed. He's got the same stuff. But here's where numbers are on his side. I mean, they always hear this track picks its winner. This track will pick you. I just feel like it's picked him, and he feels it too. We talked to him yesterday. So here's some weird trends he said. I've never heard of this, but I guess if a butterfly lands on your shoulder, it's good luck. He said a butterfly landed on his shoulder this month. He said if a cardinal
he's
lands,
already won.
yeah. Well, this is after the 500. This is since he's
after
won.
the 500. Okay.
Cardinals
after the road course race. Okay.
Yeah, Cardinals have been in his team guys' yards looking at him. I guess that's another thing.
Okay.
The last two winners, when this race was held in the same month as the Grand Prix here, because last year is different.
Yeah.
It's COVID, but every other year from 2014 it was held. The road course race kicked off the month of May. The last two guys to win the road course race won the Indy 500. He's Dutch. Arie Luyendyk, who's a well-known driver, IndyCar driver here, his first win at the 500 1990, he started third. VK starts third. VK said the Dutch Formula One driver, Max Verstappen, who's worldwide known, his very first win, F1 win, came on May 15th. VK's very first IndyCar win came on May 15th, here, a few weeks ago. VK led 33 laps that day. Verstappen's number, 33.
Oh.
It's just all these things just keep. And he said he feels like he's racing for his uncle. He goes, I'm young enough. I'm only 20, that I haven't lost many family members in my lifetime, but I lost my uncle. I was close to him. I feel like his presence. He goes, it feels weird. I feel my uncle's presence. I'm racing for my uncle. His uncle's name, Edwin. They called him Ed, Uncle Ed. That's like his best friend. He drives for Ed Carpenter Racing. It's just the weird stuff. It's just like there's too many signs not to pick him. And you look at his odds. He's got a quick car. Last year, he said he learned a lot from the race. He messed up as a pit stop that took him out of contention.
Okay.
So I just feel like the stars are aligning for this kid. I don't know.
It works for me at 17-1.
I was already picking him before I found all this other stuff out yesterday. I'm like, oh, well, you just helped me solidify this. So yeah, I feel like the stars are aligning for this kid. And we talked trends, starting position, front row has mattered here, and he's starting up front. And I feel like he said, I'm going to learn. I'm not going to go on the start here and try to go for broke and go for the lead. I know Scott Dixon's good. I'm starting the outside of the front row. Even if I lose a couple spots at the start, Herta told me the same thing. I'm okay with that. If I rattle around, learn, get some laps. But like VK said, I know my car needs to be to win this thing. I've got a great car. Most people, they're superstitious. Like, he's superstitious. A lot of superstition drivers are not going to talk about winning. They're not going to talk about the Borg Warner Trophy and taking pictures. He is. He goes, I'm that confident. I just feel. It feels weird. I feel something. So
okay,
I'm going with him for those odds too. I mean, you're getting a front row starter for those odds.
You can't go wrong with 17-1.
No, so he is my pick to win at 17-1. But there's other guys out there to bet on too. But he is my overall favorite to win this race.
Speaking of Ed Carpenter, he's next, starting fourth at 25-1.
Yep.
Now, similar to VK, he doesn't have a whole lot of good practice runs except one. And he's got 2 top fives in 17 appearances in the 500, including a runner-up from the pole in 2018 when he led 65 laps in that race. He's led 140 of 146 career laps in 5 races that he started in this top 4 area. So, actually, in the front row, in the front row.
Yeah, he's top 2. Yeah, he started
and
top 2.
And even though he's fourth, the point is that when you take a look at all the other races where he's qualified a little bit further back, when he's starting close to the front, he usually leads laps, and he usually does pretty well in this race. And again, you're talking about 25-1 from the 4th starting position.
He was one of the guys I'd bet on. He was one, absolutely, because this is his home track. He only runs ovals, and this is, for those that don't know, Ed Carpenter, his family owned the track. He's part of the Holman George family.
Okay.
Tony George was his stepdad. Roger Penske just bought the track. How ironic would it be if he wins the Indy 500 before a Penske car wins the Indy 500. So I feel like he's got a great car. He's got a great car in the draft. They look good. He's starting fourth. He's a veteran. He follows that veteran that they know what to do around here. I really feel like he's got a great shot this year too. I just feel like something's different. It's VK's teammate. Just talked about how good of a car and transit he's got. So yeah, I feel for 25-1, you can't lose by going for you're getting the fourth place starter at that. So I don't think you can go wrong with throwing some money his way.
All right, so that's the top four. Now let's go with the odds, the rest of the odds. And by the way, the last four winners started in the top four.
Yep.
Previous to that, the previous five winners started between 11th and 19th. So why do you think we're having this trend go the other way?
Well, I talked to drivers about that yesterday too. It was one of my stories I wrote on the post. I got what will the start look like, and I got what will the ending look like, and what will the race look like. Separating three different posts. The reason then was these cars are so easy to pass. The turbulent air wasn't as turbulent. They were sucking in, but it wasn't like you couldn't pass with it.
Okay.
There was just slingshots all through the field. When this new car came out in 2018,
it ruined everything.
It really, yeah, because they didn't have the rear wheel guards that were allowing the cars to pass. The turbulent air now was there. It made it a track position race. So IndyCar's been tinkering with downforce levels this whole time, trying to get it back.
Yeah.
So this year, for instance, the top two cars, everybody told me, oh, we could pass easy. Like it is, like I just said at the start of the show, you're going to see the top two swap the lead a lot. The only reason the front of the race, which I wrote, you won't see it a lot, is everybody wants to hit a fuel number. They might settle in, it's a 500-mile race, let's save some fuel, let's ride around. But when it's go time, those top two, maybe three guys, they're going to slingshot each other. They're on back, though. Here lies the problem. You could suck up. They said that. It is, you could be fourth. Let's say fourth place car. He's sucking up to the third place car. He's got to run. Here's where it's hard to pass. The third place car can suck up to the second place car. He's getting a draft to him. So as you get further in the field, now closer to the front, you may be a little bit like first may have a little bit of a gap to second. And second may have a gap to third or whatnot. So you might be able, if that car in front of you isn't getting a good run on somebody in front, you're going to be able to make a move. Now, what happens fifth on back? They're probably running closer together. This is the tightest field, one of the tightest fields in Indy 500 history, and the fastest field. So you're going to have guys that aren't going to be able to get away from each other, but they can't pass because the car in front of them is getting a run. And that creates a bunch of dirty air. So 2012 to 2017, you didn't have that. Now you do. So it's going to be a combo of both, is what the drivers have told me. The front guys are going to run like 2012 to 2017. Midway on back, it's going to be like 2018 to 2020. You just not. So it's a tale of two races. You want to position yourself up front to be there in the end. So yeah, can you get to the front? Yeah, it's possible. You're going to have to pick guys off one by one and hope for some luck. You're going to have to hope for some tire and pit strategy. Not tire like as far as 2 or 4 tires, but you're going to have to stretch your tires from the grading or short pit, or as Will Power put it. For him to win, he's starting last row. He's like, you ever had those days where you're driving to work, you're driving to an office, you're driving to the grocery store, and you hit every green light on your way there? He's like, sometimes you have days you hit every red light. If you're in a hurry, you hit every red light, but you hit every green light. That's the day he needs to win tomorrow or Sunday. It's you got that from the back, but the front, it's very well possible. So I think, yes, starting position matters, but as Pato Ward told me too, at some point in the race, you're going to be in dirty air. It's going to happen. Yeah. But the other factor too, that the weather's going to be cooler on Sunday. It's going to be in the 70s, and you gain a lot of downforce by that, which means, and here's what I mean by that. Simon Pagino told me yesterday, the lighter you go on downforce, the faster you go. But it's harder to pass because your car is out of control. But with adding cooler temperatures, you're getting more grip.
Yeah.
So it's, can you hang on to your car? He's going to trim out. He's in dirty air, but he's like, I can trim out downforce-wise. Because a lot of guys, he said, on back, you go heavier on downforce because you're slower, but you want to pass cars. Everybody's kind of the same. The guys up front go lighter on downforce because they can go faster and pull away. They don't have the dirty air. he's going lighter on downforce. Connor Daly told me the same thing. I can go lighter on downforce. So, yeah, I think you're going to see that factor.
What's the
kind of
temperature
come in.
difference then from qualifying to the race?
Qualifying was in the upper 80s, near 90, and the race is going to be low 70s. So almost 20-degree difference.
And what does that then do to, because most of the practice runs were pretty hot too, right?
Yeah, the first few days of practice were cooler. And we kept saying, oh, the weather's probably not going to be like that for race day. Well, here we go. So, and we saw some great action during those days of practice. So I think we're in for a thrilling show. And so the drivers all said this is going to be, bar none, an exciting outcome, an exciting race.
Okay.
So we should be good for a show. So that it gives it more hope for guys starting mid-pack to be able to work their way up than it did in the recent years. So,
all right. Let's shoot through the rest now. Award 10-1 starts 12th. He 3 practice runs inside the top 10, nothing into the top 5. He was first and third on the ovals this year, 6th in his first race at the 500 in his career, 6th last year. So 10-1 award.
I like him. I coming into this race, like coming in the month of May after leaving Texas, coming to the 500 stuff, I thought, yeah, he's a great sleeper. But 10-1, I would have liked to see him maybe more VK levels for me to take him. Here's what's ironic. He told me last week, literally last week, I've got a quote in one of my articles, that his car from 12th on back feels like absolute trash. He said it. He's like, it is trash. It is trash. It's sketchy. It's scary from 12th on back. You know where he starts? 12th. So
he better make sure he gets as much positioning early in the race.
Yeah, I think he is a solid top 5, top 10 guy. He's rookie of the race last year. I believe he finished 6th. I think he's a solid guy for up there. Can he win at 10-1? I would rather go elsewhere. But yeah, he's a solid driver.
Okay.
I wouldn't be shocked if he won, but
yeah. Well, I mean, when you finish first and third on the other 2 oval racetracks this year, that's impressive.
He started up front in those 2.
Okay.
That was the other difference. You couldn't pass at Texas. It was a similar race.
Okay.
The one he won, he started 4th, and he was running up front. So I think that's to be the main difference.
Okay.
But again, I want to be shocked. He's a hell of a driver, hell of a talent. But
yeah, the odds
10-1 to me. Yeah. That's where my holdup is with him.
12-1 is 16 500 champ Rossi. He'll start 10th, 7th or better in 4 of 5, including a runner-up in 2019. When he won in 2016, he was winning on his very first try. Crashed last year, just 1 top 10 practice run.
He's got a solid car. That top 10 practice. Andretti was going less speed, more downforce, more handling. They got it dialed in. I like Rossi. I usually Rossi's here like 5-1, 6-1, 7-1. You're getting him for double digits at this point. So he will make his car go in places that no one else dare goes. He's a human highlight reel at this track. So I think he's going to be there in the end for a shootout, or he'll wreck trying. So he's got good car control. I like him for those odds.
Yeah.
And his stats speak for himself. I mean, the only reason he wrecked last year was he was running top 3. He had a penalty for exiting his pit stall and getting into Sato of all people. Sent to the back, and he even said, like, my race is ruined. I'm literally coming to the front, or I'm going to wreck. And he made some bold moves, and it just got caught out by it. So if he's starting 10th, he's in the right zone. I think he can pick guys off, get up there. It's a long race, and he told me, I asked him the same question about the ending, and he was there with Pagano in 2019, narrowly lost. If he learned anything, last year's media day, he said it was too painful to even watch the ending of that race. Still, he admitted to me, yeah, I finally watched it, and I did learn a lot from it, where my car needs to be and what I need to do. So we'll see if it pans out.
You talking about the 2019 race?
Yeah, the finish. He was battling with Rossi or Pagano. So I do like him for this race for those odds. So he'd be one guy I would definitely put some money on.
Let's see. Okay. Because Newgarden is next, and he's 13-1. He won in 2017 to series in 2017 and 2019. He'll be looking for his first 500 championship, but he'll start 21st. He does have 5 top 10s in his last 6, including 3 top 5s, and was 5th last year, and was 2nd and 6th on the ovals. He does have a 4th in one of the practice runs, but everything else is pretty bad. So what about Newgarden? Just way too far back. Other than that, everything else looked pretty good, unfortunately.
He's got a good race car. The Penske guys have good race cars. They don't have good qualifying cars. And he's good here. He knows his way around. But again, he's like Pato in my mind. Good top 5, top 10 type caliber. Good play if you could find him for those odds. But for an actual win, I believe the last guy to win this race, to start outside the top 20, was 1975, if I'm not mistaken. So the numbers aren't on his side, especially in a race where they talk about it could be a track position race in the end, and he's got to get there first. So I wouldn't trust it yet.
By the way, you mentioned Rossi's because you also like him because the odds are much better than they normally are. If his odds go down, where is the line you draw where you go, yeah, nah, I liked him at 12-1, but I don't like him here?
I think 9-1 would be the line. If he's 9-1, I'd go with him. 8-1, 7-1, 6-1, no. Okay. I'd say pass. But 9-1 or where he's at through now, yeah.
All right.
Jump all over.
The next two are interesting. You got Palou starting 6th, the rookie. The practice speeds are pretty decent, including a 5th. 4th and 7th on the ovals this year. Won the road course race. And then you have Kanaan at 15-1. He starts 5th. And we talked about this last week about his odds. And it's just he's not getting the respect. 15-1. He's got 8 top 10s and a win in 19 starts at the 500. He's led 232 laps combined when he starts in the top 5. And the last time he did that in 2015, he led, 30 laps before he wrecked in that one. But anyway, again, starting up front doesn't happen a whole lot for Tony Kanaan. He starts 5th, and he's 15-1.
I would take them both. They both look fantastic this month. Kanaan's great here. Yeah, to me, Kanaan should be 7 or 8-1. He should be where Hurd is at. I mean, he's starting literally one row behind. He's right behind Hurd at the start. And you're giving this guy a veteran who knows his way around this track. And you can throw the last few years kind of stats for him out. He was with Foyt. The cars weren't very good. Okay. He's back in a Ganassi car. He's comfortable. He feels fast. He could take advantage of it. He's aggressive. He knows how to win here. And Palou, he crashed this month in qualifying. But again, he knows what not to do. He's got a really good car. That 10 car historically has been good here. Dario's won in it twice. Tony Kanaan did great in it when he was in that car here. So both guys, good starting position up front. Yeah, I would definitely go for them for those odds.
All right, 17-1. We have Ray Hall. Oh, we already mentioned VK. We got Ray Hall at 17-1 and two-time defending champ Sato at 18-1. Ray Hall 5th and 3rd on the oval races this year. Just 1 in the top 10. That was his last practice run. 3 top 5s and 13 500s, but he's only led 20 laps in his entire 500 career. He was 3rd last year. That was tied for best from 2011. And Sato, of course, is a 2-time champ who has 3 practice runs inside the top, actually 4 inside the top 10, 1 inside the top 5, and he's getting 18-1. I don't understand how Sato. Now look, he's 15. And that's okay. I get that part of it. I really do. But still, if there's a driver in that position, because we talked about 11th and 19th, and you've won from there 5 times before this last 4 years, why wouldn't you put money on? You'd have to be crazy not to put a couple of bucks on Sato, considering he's won this race twice.
Yeah, what's odd is his odds. I remember saying this on our show last week, or maybe the week before the road course race, we talked about this, that he was 18-1. They have not changed. And this guy.
Oh, you mean from like a month ago or something?
Yeah, he's still 18-1. Yeah, you take him.
And his practice speeds are one of the best as far as average.
And Graham felt like he's got a better car. Graham felt he had a better car than Sato last year, and he finished 3rd. And they both feel like they got better cars than last year. Granted, last year they started better. Just that's the only factor. Then
Yeah, but wouldn't you take Sato
yeah,
over Rahal? I mean,
yeah, I
Sato's
would.
faster than
Two-time winner.
Rahal, and he's won
Yep.
twice.
Yeah, he knows what to do, and he's very aggressive. So, granted, it's hard to win this race back to back. It hasn't happened
Sure.
since Elio did it in 01 and 02,
Right.
but you're giving the defending winner 18-1 odds. You got to take it.
Yeah.
They're just daring you to. So, yeah, I would take both of those
Yeah,
guys.
if we eliminate the first practice, he's four of the other five, third, sixth, eighth, and ninth.
Yep.
So that's pretty fast. I was just
It
noticing
is.
my predatory cat up to no good. Hold on a second. All right, I don't know if he's got something. There's nothing I can do about it.
Nope.
I try to save all the animals that he goes after. I've had rabbits. I've had 3 of them. I've had to try to save. I was able to save one of them. The other 2, they get all freaky. They get their heart. Just they can't take it. And the birds, no chance. All right. So Sato, yes. Rahal, no.
No, I'd take them both.
You would.
Rahal's got a good car. Yeah, for those odds, since they're both 18-1, especially if you're avoiding the top guys, I think you got some money to wiggle room to take both. I would definitely take both.
All right, now let's go to some of the others. Now here you've got Erickson at 22-1 starting 9th. Crashed last year in his opener as 23rd. Actually crashed and finished 23rd. He's been in this race twice. But his practice speeds are really strong. If you look at it, not only does he start 9th, but all practice runs inside the top 10, 3 in the top 5, second fastest in the last practice.
Yeah, he's one again. I would take 22-1, and he joked on the media call before the season started for the preseason media day. He's a Formula One guy. He grew up in Europe. He's used to road course. He's like, what's funny is I feel more comfortable now in the ovals, and I feel like my first win is going to be on an oval. What better place? Look at his speeds. It's like he called his shot. So for 22-1 to get a 9th place starter in a Ganassi car, who's looked the best, I might add, I'd go for it.
Okay. Also at 22-1 is 2019 champ, and you mentioned Pagenaud before. He starts 26th though, and he only has one top 5 in 9 500 races, which happened to be the win, but he was on the pole that day.
Yeah, I don't trust his starting spot. Is why I wouldn't trust him. This way. Granted, you're getting a past winner at those odds, but yeah, the starting spot.
Can't take everybody.
You'd be a top 5, top 10 would be a good day for him.
Will Power, 32nd. 4 top 5s and a win in his 13 appearances.
Same. He's got a good race car. Look, Pagenaud does too. They've got the talent to win here. They've done it before. They've done it recently. It's just the starting spot. Nobody's ever won past 28th here, and he's starting 32nd. So
look at it. This year is only the 3rd time that he's starting outside the top 10 in the Daytona 500. Yep. He finished 14th last year from the 22nd position, 13th in 2008 from the 23rd position.
So, yeah, he's definitely odd to see him starting back there. So, but I don't think he can win from back there.
It's crazy.
Like you said, he's got to have all
25-1, just like Ed Carpenter.
Yep. Isn't that crazy? 4th place and 32nd place. But here I'm going against my own advice that I use in NASCAR, and I say if you could give me a Penske for those odds, take it. But I know too much about this race to start in 32nd.
Yeah, that's just come on. That's and then Castro Neves, 30-1, will start 8th. He's had just one practice run in the top 10. All the other ones are pretty bad though.
He's essentially an Andretti car though. So again, that's the practice speeds. I would
how
take
surprising
him for those
was it then for him to qualify 8th?
I was a little shocked, to be honest. I'm shocked you're giving me a 3-time Indy 500 winner at those odds. That's
starting
why I
8th.
Would take it. And he's starting 8th. He knows how to win here. And here's the other thing. Point was brought up in the media day. His previous 3 wins with Roger Penske. He was a Penske driver. Almost felt like a lifer. Penske didn't bring him back. So Penske's been writing his checks for 20 years. How ironic would it be his first race in IndyCar back in 2021? Penske would be signing a big check to him for an Indy 500 win. That would be in a 4th win. We haven't had a 4-win club driver since 1991. So Yeah, for those odds, that baffled me again. You're given a 3-time winner 33-1 odds. We got Ed Carpenter starting fourth, 25-1 odds. Power's right up there with him. That he's got worse odds than Will Power, and this guy's won 3 times. So I would definitely take that money all the way to the bank.
Yeah. Again, even if you just put a couple of bucks on him.
Yeah, doesn't hurt.
33-1 is McLaughlin, and he was second and eighth in the ovals this year. The rookie will start 17th. His practice speed's not very good. Montoya 35-1, and he hasn't raced here the last 3 years. His worst starting position of his career in a 500 race. He'll start 24th. What is this? Why is he even racing?
He's back.
This is the
needed his help.
beginning.
Yeah, he was going to race the last 3 years.
He was,
but because he was a Penske driver in IMSA, and McLaren wanted him to run here. They wanted him to team with Alonso, and they called, "Hey, do you want to run?" And he said, "I can't. Roger won't let me." Roger always said no. Like, Roger knows that Montoya's talent here. That guy can win in anything. So Roger didn't want to compete against him. He had him under contract. He's not under contract with Roger anymore. He's not on his IMSA team. They shut the IMSA team down. That's why Elio and Juan were able to look elsewhere. So this was just his first opportunity to finally say yes. And he said this car, it's a first car. He understands it's where it's at now. It'll be faster next year. It'll be the fastest year after that. But that guy can win from anywhere. And you're giving me, again, a 2-time winner for those odds. I don't trust McLaughlin. Last rookie winner was a fluke in 16. Before that was 2000 and 2001. Before that, 1966. So I don't trust the rookie, him or Pietro. Nothing against Pietro, but again, rookie trend. I don't trust it. Montoya, like Mike Elio, throw a couple bucks his way. He's won the 500 for 2 different teams. Why not 3 in 3 different decades?
Sixth or better in 4 of 5 500s with 2 wins.
He's great here. Yeah, you got to go. You're giving me that driver for those odds. So take him. I would definitely take him.
50-1 is Daly. He'll start 19th, but he has never led a lap in 7 attempts at the 500. And also, Andretti is 50-1, but he has just looked really slow.
Those would be the last. There's 2 of them and 1 more driver for my longer shots that I'd take. And here's why. Daly told me yesterday this is the best car he's ever had. Qualifying, they just didn't get the downforce levels and grip right. But he said, I can go as light as downforce out there, and my car still feels more grip. We can see all that data than other people. I could suck up to anybody. My car feels great. I'm going to ride it out, not going to put my car in vulnerable positions early. I think I can win this thing. And he's with the downforce levels it's going to take at the end to win this. I think he's got it, and you're getting him for 50-1.
Okay.
So that's why I would take him 50-1. And Marco, the only reason I take him is for the trends. And here's the trend. The one-off winners, it's just hard to do. It's a driver making his first start. It happened in 2001 with Elio. It happened in 2011 with Dan Weldon. It's 21, so every 10 years it's happened. The last one was in the 98, same car he's driving. It's happened. The last driver to start on the pole and not lead a lap, one of the last few, it happened one more time before this, but one before that one, was 1974 with Johnny Rutherford. The very next year, 1975, Johnny Rutherford started 25th and won. That was the last time somebody started outside the top 25. Marco Andretti's starting position this weekend? 25th. And he said his feels like his car is really good in race trim. So for 50-1.
Oh, you mean he finally had something positive to say?
Finally. Yep. He said, I'm finally happy. So,
all right.
So all those trends for 50-1.
Hey, maybe this is a good year because nobody's counting it. Nobody's talking about him now.
No, even if it's like the type of, like, you've risked everything else and you want to just, hey, I need to bet $4 on him to win my money back. Do it. Maybe he's your win your money back guy, but definitely worth it. For 50-1, it can't hurt.
All right. Ferrucci, by the way, is also 50-1. He finished 4th and 7th in what his were those
2 years? Yeah, okay. Those are only 2. Again, trends 7-4-1.
It's not bad.
In Ray Hall, this is a Ray Hall car that finished 1-3 last year. He was 4th, so trending for him that way. But Graham told me yesterday that he didn't feel like Santino's car was very good yet. So
he starts 23rd. That's not good.
Yeah. So he's ballsy driver. Can race anywhere. Could he win? Yeah. But do I think he'll win? I think you're better off throwing your money on 50-1 with Connor and Marco than with Santino.
And then finally, you have Jones. The 2017 Rookie of the Year is 66-1. He'll start 11th. If you take a look back at it a few years ago, he finished 3rd, and he started 11th.
That's why that's the longest shot odds guy I was alluding to that I would take. Is he's starting 11th. He's got a good car. That's the same car Santino finished 4th in last year. He knows how to get it done. He's starting towards the front. You're giving me the 11th place start in a race that we know could be a track position race for 66-1. And he knows how to finish the top 5. So, yeah, 66-1 odds. Throw a couple bucks his way. What does it hurt?
Okay. All right. So, give me your podium.
VK first. I'm going to go Scott Dixon second, just because of that trend I said in the end. And then I'm going to roll the dice and say Carpenter third. I just feel like he's got a good car, knows how to be there in the end. So I'm going to go VK, Dixon, Carpenter, my 1, 2, 3.
All right. And as far as all of these, let's see, out of all of, because most of them have pretty good odds. I'll probably go, because look, I've said this for years. I always put money on Andretti every year, so that's just a given. So I'm always going to put money on them. But the other two, I'll probably put money on Carpenter and Kanaan.
Smart.
So I'll go with that'll be my threesome, just some long shots. I'll probably, again, I'll listen to you as well and just put a couple bucks here and there. I mean, Pelot is probably someone too, based on his odds, that I'll probably definitely put a little bit of money on. And then maybe a buck here and there on some of the others that you talked about.
That's what I would do. Smart play to at least win a little bit of money on it. So, yep.
What's your schedule now? What's going on? Your family's coming in on Sunday, correct?
Yep. They'll be here Sunday for the race. Tomorrow is, hopefully we get some stuff in today, where tomorrow is more of a relaxing day for the first time in a while. My kid's got a baseball game, so hopefully relax a little bit, and then bright and early out here Sunday, full coverage for the race. But all my other stuff, reports, they're up on RaceView Online now. Got it all done, got it all up. Today would just be a recap for what we've seen. Everything else for the race, like I said, who I think the start of the race will look like, the middle of the race, the end of the race, who will win, track trends, burning questions, team recap, everything you can need is up there right now. So this is usually the time we can start easing our way into the 500.
Yeah, and some of the other, let's see, I'm just noticing some of the trends, trying to see. Only one pole sitter has won since 2009.
Yep.
That doesn't bode well for Scott Dixon. A Penske Andretti driver has won 6 of the last 7 races.
Yep.
The last non-Penske Chevy to win was 92.
Yes.
Okay. Is there any of those drivers that we have to eliminate because of that?
Not this year.
Okay.
Because Penske and Andretti haven't looked like the top teams.
Okay.
I feel like they're still down. That's why I was gonna follow that trend, but I'm like, yeah, well then you're bucking some of the starting trend. And yes, I mean if you go by that trend, you're probably Herta, Rossi, maybe your favorites, Hunter Ray. But I just feel like VK could be the first Chevy to win since 92 outside of a Penske. I just feel like the stars are aligned for Carpenter.
By the way, what is Hunter Ray? Because his odds weren't available.
He was 22-1. He'd be one that I would definitely take a look at. I don't think he's got race winning potential yet. He could do it, but I do think he's a top 10 type guy. If they could get the car dialed in, we know he can make moves to win. He's won here in the past, but I would definitely say I wouldn't take him right now. Let's say
the last driver to win the 500 and then also the championship, the series in the same season, was Franchitti in 2010. Dario Franchitti.
Yep, it's not a. What's weird is it's not a common thing even though this thing plays double points.
Very strange.
So it's strange, especially when I asked drivers yesterday, and that's up on the site too. Which is harder to win, the championship or the Indy 500? Their responses were very interesting. So I would take a look at that because someone said, well, hey, it's 500 pays double points.
Yeah.
It's a one-day race. but you paid all of attention on that. The season's a season. You can afford a bad race, but there's also a bunch of different disciplines of track. So it's fascinating, the responses.
Are you going to be able to? You'll be home in time to watch the end of the Coke 600, right?
Should be. If all goes well, yes, should be.
All right.
It just depends on by the end of it. Yes, unless something crazy happens, I should be at least by the end of the 600.
Okay.
Able to
Do you have anything up for NASCAR yet?
I did the normal favorite sleepers,
okay,
5 burning questions, and the track trends, but that's it.
All right. Well, we'll wrap up the Coke 600 and obviously the 500. We're not sure yet when we're going to do the post race for the 500, but probably going to do double duty on Monday, I would believe.
Yeah.
So we'll figure that out somehow. And then we're definitely going to post up as many press conference clips as we can. And then, you know, any surprises that Eric that you kind of come up with along the way, anything that, because if it was a nice day, you would have been able to fulfill your pledge earlier in the week about trying to go to different places and show people, but we'll have to hold that, like you said, maybe during the summer. You'll be able to go out there on your own, and that'll be an opportunity to do it and have a little bit more time as well.
Yeah, and if it clears, it gets cleared now. If the rain holds, we still might be able to do a gasoline alley tour or something, separate video here in a little bit. But this morning it was just pouring. The garages were closed. There had been nothing to see, and I've been walking around the rain without a very good video to see of a gasoline alley when there's nobody out.
Yeah.
So
well,
maybe later. Yeah, I mean, I could still, even after practice happens, if it happens.
Well, I'm available.
I'll have to check after this video.
So I got no other shows today.
We still might be able to do it,
right.
So I'll let you know.
All right, we'll check it out. Eric, appreciate it. Enjoy the race on Sunday, and we'll talk about it on Monday.
Thank you. Appreciate it.